Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in to my super chat. Thank you so much. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know that these are tough times for everybody, and if you want to support my voice, I'm just greatly, greatly appreciative. Thank you. Please share my latest article in the Times of Israel. Share that all throughout Facebook. I don't have Facebook. I don't have Twitter. But share that all throughout Facebook and Twitter. Hillary Clinton, not Biden, will be nominee. Eric H526, thank you as always. Thank you as always for your friendship and for being an amazing moderator along with Luke St. Martin. Thank you both for just being amazing, amazing moderators. Eric H526 and Luke St. Martin, thank you. People, I understand, I talk about the same things over and over again, and I get it. I understand. It can be boring, and I've been called a one-trick pony, but that's fine because, speaking of, subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman. I am the antithesis of myself. I'm my alter ego, my Tony Clifton. Subscribe to, I'm the rabid, frothing at the mouth, angry, maniacal, sad, pathetic, imbecile in your life that judges and condemns you for voting for President Trump. I'm yelling and screeching at the top of my lungs. I just got a new backdrop, so I'm just setting up the backdrop, and I will have a new segment tomorrow. So definitely, but subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman. H.A. Goodman's other channel is now over 15,000 subs. So I'll have a segment up on H.A. Goodman's other channel. So that, thank you, Arya Lee, thank you. So that'll be great tomorrow. Luke St. Martin, hello. Eric H526, hello. The two best moderators in all of YouTube. People, there's a 1996 court document that came out. A 1996 court document that came out when Tara Reade was in the process of divorcing her husband. Where in the court document, her husband states that she told him about a really horrific assault in Vice President Biden's because of Vice President Biden. That was the San Luis Obispo. Let's see, what's the paper? It's the San Luis Obispo Tribune. Exclusive 1996 court documents affirm Tara Reade told of harassment in Biden's office. So you have a 1996 court document. You have a Larry King call-in, which I find to be really bolsters beyond belief. You can't go back in time. A court documents could be, obviously it's not forged, but some way you could say, okay, well, we found this court document. Of course, I'm not saying that generally a court document would be enough. What I'm trying to tell you is there is no way to fabricate in any possible way. There's no way to fabricate a call-in, a Larry King call-in. You already have infinitely more than what was leveled against Kavanaugh and what was leveled against Trump. And you have a criminal police report. No police report has ever been filed against Trump or Kavanaugh. And whenever people were asked, well, why don't you file a police report, it was always some absurd answer. So Tara Reade, I believe, is telling the truth. And I'm not saying I believe this because of, it's Biden. I don't like Democrats, and I want Clinton to be nominated. Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee. She'll be opposite. Trump on the ballot. But you look, and it's like the stories against Trump and Kavanaugh. I'm not going to compare the two, but they did not have as much evidence, and that's a fact. Nobody can contest that. They did not have nearly as much quote-unquote circumstantial evidence or evidence. I mean, you cannot convict somebody based on a call-in. You cannot convict someone based on a court document in 1996. You can't convict someone just based on an accusation. There's no, and the statute of limitations has run out. The pattern of behavior that Democrats fall back on is exemplified by Biden. There's definitely a pattern of behavior there. We did not know, nobody talked about a pattern of behavior prior to President Trump running or prior to Kavanaugh becoming a Supreme Court justice. But we did have, Biden was always Mr. Touchy-feely. He was always that person under the guise of the nice, sweet grandpa or uncle or whatever. When caught with their pants down, Democrats stated, and liberals, well, I'll still vote for Biden because, Trump has 25 people. Well, Biden has actually over 8. So he has around 8 people. Well, actually, 8 is less than 25. Yeah, but the 25 and Kavanaugh's situation don't have a police report. They don't have a 1993 call-in. They don't have court documents from 1996. So now what are you going to say? And it was never, when it was Kavanaugh, it was never, it was believe. And if you even said anything contrary, you were excommunicated from existence. You were the worst person on the planet. They yelled and screamed and screeched and just yelled at the top of their lungs this righteous indignation that they now seem to have forgotten about for political purposes. Just like with Russia, they utilized the Steele dossier. Old School Dad Man, great week of videos this week at you. Thank you so much, Old School Dad Man. Thank you very, very, very much. That means a lot to me. I appreciate that. Thank you. Sometimes you think that, it's like this week has been slow. Sometimes the past couple weeks have been slow on this channel, just because of everything happening. But yesterday was, 2 days ago, Michael Flynn was yesterday, 2 days ago. Michael Flynn was completely exonerated. So, Old School Dad Man, thank you. Thank you very much for the kind words. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Anthony Andrea, H.A. Stradamus. You think the DNC will let Biden fall on a sword and take the loss to set up 2024? That's a great question. I do not think so at all. Biden is a placeholder. There's no way that Madam Secretary allows Biden. Hillary's going to be the nominee and going to lose to Trump again. Mr. Fro 4484, I know I need a haircut. What I'm going to try to do is maybe a faux hawk. We'll see. We'll see how it ends up. We'll see. I might look like Rip Van Winkle when this is all done, because I don't know when I can get a haircut again. But Anthony, you always have amazing questions and statements. That's an interesting thought. I just think that it's a political machine, and Clinton, this is her time. The second she lost, Anthony and everybody here, the second Clinton lost was Luke St. Martin. The second that Clinton lost was the second she said, okay, now we're going to do this again. The way I look at it is, if you're a Super Bowl team and you lose to a junior college by 1 point in a last-second field goal, do you want to play that junior college team again? Let's just say, for example, that the field was wet, it was rainy, there was fog, nobody could see. The junior college team was taking performance enhancing, drugs and all this stuff. I mean, every single excuse possible. If there was every single excuse possible that the Super Bowl winning team could say, oh my God, this junior college, we weren't even trying, our quarterback was injured, we didn't even have our coaching staff, we weren't playing with helmets, they were playing with helmets. Look, there are a million excuses always. Democrats are very good at making a million different excuses. They're always very, very, very good at making a million different excuses. So, They're always very good at making a million different excuses, but at the end of the day, there's really no way. There's really no way, ladies and gentlemen, that Biden will be the nominee, because that will be the end of the Democratic Party. They would much rather lose with Clinton. If they lost with Clinton, they could then come up with an excuse as to why they lost. Don't think they don't have another excuse ready. And, they're probably going to go and hunker down and dig their heels in and, never admit defeat ever. I do think, though, that there will be a paradigm shift. I think that media, the corrupt intelligence officials will all slither towards Trump in a very, not in an overt way, but almost a covert manner. They won't. Maybe you're going to see more positive press on President Trump. You will. Because media they're going to realize that you can't devote your entire existence to try and take down President Trump. You have to understand, I have friends, ladies and gentlemen. Just the other day, a buddy of mine, known since forever, goes ahead and says, I can't talk to you anymore because you're supporting Trump and you have a platform and people listen to you. It's like, okay. MSNBC, CNN, The Washington Post, The New York Times, every publication, almost ABC, NBC, CBS, the entire media is stacked against Trump. But my YouTube channel, that's relatively small, and my H.A. Goodman's other channel is only 15,000 subs, and then Bizarro World is my comedy channel. I'm just getting it off the ground. But me and my writing, it's not like the whole world knows who I am. Most people don't. But I get, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're supporting a monster. Okay, this man President Trump didn't get us into a war. He didn't get us into any of these, anything that Bush or President Obama got us into. Lyle Bud! My hero is innocent. Thank you, Sidney Powell. Yes, and team. Yes, Michael Flynn. Yes, Lyle Bud. Thank you. Michael Flynn, ladies and gentlemen, God bless him. He went up against a very corrupt system, and Lyle Bud, you got to also, ask yourself, when you look at why, like Michael Flynn being exonerated, okay, he was exonerated and he's cleared, and the Justice Department dropped the case because they set him up. I wrote in the Federalist, my article, Lyle Bud, 18 U.S. Code 371, Lyle. It's below in the description section of this and every one of my segments. You can go to my author page and the Federalist. 18 U.S. Code 371 is a very broad statute. They tried to actually utilize that against President Trump. They tried to say that he was colluding. There's no collusion statute, but there is a statute that talks about, if you conspire to defraud the people of the United States or the United States government, utilizing agencies against their stated purpose. So, Lyle, this is going to be one of the foundations of John Durham's eventual indictments. People will get indicted because they committed crimes. Not like absurd, entrapment, you lied to an FBI agent. Like, yeah, and he shouldn't have even been. We don't even know. The 302s don't even list a lie. Anthony Andrea, will the Republicans gain in the House and retain the Senate? I'm going to stay away from that. Interested to see how the media spins the transcripts release. The media, they'll spin everything that happens Everybody here, everything, Anthony, everybody here, everything that takes place, ladies and gentlemen, everything that takes place will be spun beyond belief. Every single thing that takes place will be spun beyond belief. Everything. Everything will be spun. Nothing will be accepted at face value. They'll never admit that the intelligence agencies utilized They'll never admit that the intelligence agencies utilized government to go up against, to set up and frame Trump. So, and that's why, like, when you hear people like, how could you vote for Trump? It's like they don't understand you're voting for Trump in large part to prevent, well, not only to prevent never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, he just ended the longest-running military conflict in Afghanistan in U.S. history. Nobody cares on the left. You vote for Clinton, you will get not only more of President Obama's foreign policy, you get more of Bush's foreign policy because she backed Bush's foreign policy. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. So Lyle, Bud, Anthony, thank you. They're going to spin every possible thing they can. Getting back to my story, so this friend of mine, oh yeah, I don't want to be your friend anymore. It's like, so they're okay with never-ending counterinsurgency conflict. Well, that won't happen. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care about the things you care about. They don't care about the things you care about. And you'll see the most vile, nasty, don't talk about politics with anyone, any family member, because they're not going to think logically. If you try to explain to them, look, you have a hierarchy, you have a list of things that are important to you. I have a list of things that are important to me. Preventing never-ending military conflict is the most important thing in my view. The people who are voting for Clinton in 2020, that's not the most important thing in their view. They don't care. They don't even think it's actually an issue. They think that there are no conflicts anymore. They don't even think we are still in a conflict in the Middle East. They don't think that at all. They completely, they only see what's in front of them, and then they'll make things up. They'll be like, well, this affects me, and Trump's incompetence affects me personally. It's like, no, it doesn't. Trump is not the governor or the mayor of your city or the governor of your state. Politics is local 90% of the time. In terms of the country's direction, I'd much rather have President Trump, the entire country's direction. I'd much rather have peace between North and South Korea. The beginning of peace between North and South Korea with President Trump. I'd much rather have President Trump not embrace the rear end of NATO, or not embrace the rear end of other non-government or multinational organizations. I would much rather have European countries, or I should say, I would much rather have the United States autonomous, as opposed to, well, that's just a pretext, but I don't want to engage in NATO interventions. I would much rather address the trade imbalance with China now than later. And if tariffs are a way to address the imbalance, then so be it. Trump has been doing very difficult things to do, and he doesn't care. He's the only person who could possibly have engaged in he's the only president who could have gotten us out of, or could have began the process, at least, of getting us out of never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. Our foreign policy under Bush and President Obama was one of endless intervention. Not so with President Trump. You can say, well, he's not a pacifist. Well, that's fine. I'm not voting for him to be a pacifist. I'm voting for him to reverse President Obama and Bush's foreign policy, which is what he's doing. A lot of other things. Tariffs are a short-term tactic that work. They work. We had record low unemployment up until recently. Okay, so you can look at Democrats are trying to blame the economic downturn on Trump. Everyone knows it's not Trump's fault. Everyone knows who wants to keep the economy stifled. Everyone knows the politicians, who the politicians are, and who the political side is. Nobody is questioning whether Trump wants to open the economy up. He actually even shelved the CDC guidelines, which he did so almost certainly because it would have taken too long to open the economy. What Democrats were begging for in terms of some unforeseen crisis has taken place. The problem is they can't utilize it to their advantage because this crisis, and then you get well, Trump's incompetence, cost lives. Like, no, over half of all the lives lost, if you look at the New York Times, are in 3 states: New York, New Jersey, and Michigan. All 3 states have Democratic governors. So, all 3 states have Democratic governors. They spin every single thing. And then you get another lie. Oh, well, he knew about this in January. No, he was being impeached in January. And even in early February. None of the Democrats talked about this. None of the Democratic governors talked about this. And of course, it's just his fault. So, and now you have this charade where they think Trump is a criminal. He's corrupt. He wasn't impeached on a criminal offense. Bill Clinton was impeached on a criminal. Lyle Budd, thank you again, Lyle. Thank you. He wasn't impeached on a criminal offense. Bill Clinton was. 2 criminal offenses. And now you have this charade that continues. Why would they go with Biden? Nobody has ever explained this to me. I've never heard an explanation. Well, he won the primary. So what? They cheated Bernie Sanders, and in court they said that they don't even have to have a primary. So I don't get it. I don't understand how they're going to go with Biden, who go type in Joe Biden. You only get negative news stories. And then you have Bill Maher urges Dems not to allow Reade to change the subject from defeating Trump. First of all, Trump is going to win again. Whether it's not going to be Biden, but with Biden, Democrats wouldn't even get the popular vote because they're corrupt and the media lies daily on their behalf. Trump said this and Trump said that and Trump's doing this and Trump's doing that. The incompetence is unbelievable. Oh my God. How could people? Oh my God. Have you ever seen a more rabid media? Have you ever seen an overt, not just bias, contempt? Growing up, I remember in the 80s or 90s, people would actually debate if there was a bias in media. It was so ingrained that media was objective. And at that point, media was just actually infinitely more objective than it is now. It always had a liberal bias. But it was a slight liberal bias. You had a slight conservative bias in the Bush years. Then it swung so far to the left. It's not just a bias, it's utter contempt. And it's I'm telling you, if you have family members or friends, do not speak to them. Do not even talk to them about this until after November. Big Chris! Just got my test results back. No Rona. Nice. I can go back to work. Hillary Cuomo. Love you, buddy. God bless you, Big Chris. Nice. Nice. No, nice. Big Chris. Thank God. Keep safe. And could be. I think it would be Hillary and a woman. I think that Biden is going to pick a woman, and Biden in some way will, skedaddle and exit stage left. We don't know how, but it'll happen. There's probably a million different ways. He could just tomorrow, if tomorrow or next week he just bowed out gracefully and said, "Look, you know what? For the good of the party, I'm not going to deal with these allegations, and a woman should be believed, but I didn't do anything. I'm leaving." Big Chris, everybody here, that would be enough. And then Clinton would be like, "I don't know. Oh my God, really? Okay." And then she would be the nominee. Big Chris, thank you again. Congrats. Excellent news. Stay safe. But he could bow out. And then what I don't understand is everyone on the planet knows that Hillary would be next after Biden. But people are like, "Oh my goodness, how is that? How would that ever happen?" It's like, who cares? At this point, you have New York Times articles saying, "I believe Tara Reade. I don't care." Let's listen to this. Let's look at this. Maher urges Dems not to allow Tara Reade. Okay, so Democrats should not allow. Okay. We're letting this person change the subject from Donald Trump. Lethal incompetent. No, he's not lethal incompetent. That's Andrew Cuomo. But see, now you see what they've done? Every single tragedy, not only do they politicize, but they blame the wrong person. So if you want to politicize COVID, ask where over half the lives lost are. And God bless the people of New York, New Jersey, and Michigan. Only the most amazing people in New York, New Jersey, and Michigan. I've only known the most amazing, wonderful people in my whole life. But if you want to politicize it, we can politicize it. It's just like when Michael Irvin was debating Stephen A. Smith about the Dallas Cowboys. And it was really hilarious. And Michael Irvin said, "You want to go back? You want to go to history? We'll go to the real history. We'll go back if you want to. And we'll go to all history." So he's talking about Stephen A. Smith doesn't like the Cowboys. And so he's always clowning the Cowboys. And then so Michael Irvin said, because Stephen A. Smith said something like, "Well, you look at recent history and the Cowboys, they don't even fulfill their expectations." And then Michael Irvin said, history, you want to go to history? Go back to the whole history. So it was great. And then the crowd is great. But if you want to politicize this, let's politicize this. Let's look at where this is the worst. Look at who the governors are. They say, well, Trump is not a governor. Exactly. Trump can't reopen states. Exactly. Well, then he can't tell people to get masks or ventilators or whatever. The lethal incompetence was Cuomo and Whitmer. The lethal incompetence was Cuomo and Whitmer. But it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. When you look at what's taken place, ladies and gentlemen, it's When you look at what's taking place, hold on one second. I'm trying to read this. When you look at what's taking place, ladies and gentlemen, it's more hair hidden for time. More hair. I tell you, I'm going to look like Rip Van Winkle when this is all done. But you look at what's taking place. This is the biggest charade. Not since, this is a magic trick. This is an illusion. You look at all the great magicians of all time. Harry Houdini, the greatest. And you look at some really amazing ones, David Blaine, and all of these great illusionists and magicians, and they're not superhuman. There's always a way that people look and they say, "My God, how did this happen?" But these are, to call them tricks, it's probably not doing what they do justice. But they're, in Harry Houdini's case, he's risked his life so to give you a show. But the Democrats are the opposite. They give you a show, but it's not the show you want. And they're not risking their lives. They're making money out of it. They're making money out of it. So you look, ladies and gentlemen, at share my Times of Israel article everywhere. It's really important. Hillary Clinton, not Biden, will be nominee. And please share my Huffington Post article also throughout Facebook. Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. Clinton's going to host $100,000. This is on Zoom, okay? $100,000 internet teleconference. It's pretty hilarious that you're gonna have Hillary Clinton host virtual fundraiser for Biden with the highest ticket at $100,000. So you're not even going to get fed. No fish, no rosé, no Chardonnay, no nothing. You can't even here, this is Biden has become an albatross for the Democrats. He was never there to begin with. When this all goes down, some Democratic donors would like to replace Biden with Andrew Cuomo, Hillary Clinton, or Michelle Obama. Exactly. Here we go. Oh, Victor Davis Hanson is amazing. The least offensive candidate left standing was Biden. Many Democratic voters initially had written him off as an inept retread. You look at this charade, and I will have been the only person on planet Earth to call this from day one. Look, they cannot do this too quickly. They cannot do this too quickly because they need to still keep some semblance of it being a fair primary. So they don't want to. They could if they want. They could if they wanted to. They could, and people would be fine with it. But they're at the point where you have, this grumbling of this slow discontent that's rising from the cauldron of Democratic Party frustration. people are now talking, and they're, really, do we have to stay with Biden? And then they'll find Cuomo doesn't want to run, Michelle Obama doesn't want to run, nobody else wants to run. Well, you're left with Hillary Clinton, and she will lose again to Trump. Thank you, I am Siler. Thank you. It's going to take place, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to take place, but how it takes place, who Lord knows how. Lord knows how. I can't predict the treachery. I cannot predict the treachery. How they do it, I mean, honestly, at this point right now, is anyone going to blame Biden for simply saying, you know what, I can't do this anymore, I give up? I mean, would anyone blame Biden? Clinton campaign, if you're listening, please be smart. Just tell Biden, just tell him to call it quits. Nobody will care. Nobody. You know what? This would actually be a better theatrical event. You want people to remember that the Democratic Party was in good hands through this crisis. We have May, June, July, and the beginning of August. June and July, ladies and gentlemen, it's going down. June and July, it's going down, people. June and July. This is going down June and July, everybody. It is going down June and July. We have no clue what's going to take place. We have no clue who's going to take place. I mean, what's going to take place. But we know that the whole thing's a charade. It's unbelievable how life has changed in such a short time. And to think that to think that a political machine wouldn't take advantage of this, which whether this crisis happened or not, it would have been Hillary anyway. But this is tailor-made. And also, Biden is done. There's no reason to vote for Biden. Biden can't even run a live stream. I mean, sometimes it takes me a while because the computer is updating, but almost always my live streams run smoothly. It's just me yelling into the mic. With Biden, it's just always some kind of bizarre thing. He can't even communicate a thought without some kind of absurd, bizarre tangent. And Democrats who truly believe this process is not rigged, they're in the biggest complete denial ever. They're looking and saying, "Oh, well, well, Trump is worse." It's like, no, they just don't like Trump's personality. You're seeing a lot of really, really horrific things. I don't even want to... you're seeing a lot of horrific things take place now. Because this crisis is affecting so many people. Just in terms of just depression. Ladies and gentlemen, so it's just unbelievable. It is just unbelievable. Rick Bartlett. Everything that the government is doing is backwards. Open up, and if needed, keep old. Exactly. Keep old. Exactly. This is the most exactly. Rick Bartlett. I agree 100% with you. I agree 100% with you. I agree 100% with you. Lars! Hello, folks. Hello, Lars. Lundesval. Lundstall. Thank you, Lars. As always, thank you for watching, Lars. Rick, I agree 100% with you. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. It is the most counterproductive. People lose their lives from smoking, from drinking. I mean, are we going to ban smoking? Are we going to ban drinking? More people lost their lives from the flu in 2017 and 2015 in California than from this crisis. Anyone could look at the CDC stats. There is hopefully, and the interesting thing is you can't tank the economy again. You can't tank the economy again. That's just not, Because what happens if, God forbid, the same type crisis takes place 3 years from now? Another 30 million unemployed? How does that work? This is not sustainable. You don't give the keys. Like, if you have, ED, you don't go to a podiatrist. So you give the keys to the economy to these doctors. They're not economists, and they don't care. I don't go to a mechanic if I have a plumbing issue. I don't go to a plumber to fix my car. So it's like they put the keys to the economy to people who have no business weighing in on economic issues. Todd Rubel, when they go high, when they go low, we go high. Todd Rubel, thank you. Todd, thank you. Rick Bartlett, I agree 100% with you. And the interesting thing is like, you can lose your life in society so many different ways. You look at the figures, the projections, they were all off. The initial hysteria was predicated upon projections that have now been revised. They have been revised and then continue to be revised downwards because you cannot get the full picture of the severity of any crisis until it's seen, a couple months after it's completely subsided. This crisis was handled backwards. You shut down the entire United States economy. I mean, if you wanted to tell people to wear masks and social distancing, fine. But you shut down the entire economy. You can't get a haircut. You can't even get a haircut. Webby! Cheers, H.A. Love your work, and so do all the ball boys. Thank you, Webby! Webby, thank you very, very much. Thank you, Webby. Thank you, Webby. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. Webby, thank you. Thank you. Rick and Webby and everybody here, I don't understand how if you want to protect human lives, then why on earth would you not ban alcohol? Why on earth would you not ban cigarettes? Well, that's not, those are activities that don't affect others. Really? Secondhand smoke? Well, there are already, laws in place. And well, what about for people's homes? There are laws in place. But what about for people's homes? Secondhand smoke. What about fatty foods? Heart disease. Are we going to legislate that also? Gavin Krejkis. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Gavin, thank you. Gavin, thank you so very much. Gavin, thank you. Thank you, Gavin. Webby, thank you, Webby. Rick, thank you, Rick. What about heart disease? Smoking. I mean, food that, if you live your life, fast food. You say, well, there's people who can't afford, meals. They eat fast food. No. We have not looked at any economic issues. It's only been what's best for people. So now we have government saying we're going to protect you. Okay. Shut down fast food. If you eat fast food your whole life, you're not going to have a long life. Okay? Shut down fast food. Ban alcohol, ban smoking. What else? Driverless cars tomorrow. How many people lose their lives in accidents around the country? Tens of thousands. Tens of thousands. Let me see. How many people lose their lives on the roads? Wow. Let's see here. I mean, this is unbelievable. It's hard to. I need to look at. 3 million people are injured in the U.S. every year in car accidents. And 90 people lose their lives every day in the United States of America. So ban cars, driverless cars, tomorrow. That's it. That's it. Food allergies, ban peanuts. I mean, just because this oh my God, veteran who approves. You and I both love corned beef sandwiches. I'm Jewish, so I have to love corned beef sandwiches. But there's a pretty good place in Los Angeles. A couple of good places in Los Angeles. It's just unbelievable how quickly people are willing to give up their freedom, their autonomy to experts. The experts say this. Oh, well, the experts. And then suddenly the experts are proven wrong. Oh, we didn't know. Then and they never, the experts never get taken to task by the same people who worship them. So then you have this, well, it's true, but you know what? And then when their projections are wrong, oh, well, everything seems to be working. No. Look at the data, look at the statistics. Look at the data and look at the statistics. Old school dad man, mail-in ballots, removing people who are not deemed safe from others in their own home. Exactly. Everything is like, it's like, old school dad man, thank you. How many people die every year? Motor vehicle fatality rates. In the United States, my God. So you have 36,000 in 2018. My God. I mean, you look at this and it's like, it's just unbelievable. How many? There is a warped sense of there's a very warped sense of morality in this day and age, where your ability, your right to make a living is in some way misconstrued as hurting other people because of the 1% chance, less than 1% chance something bad could happen. Meanwhile, Aussie J, no, I don't think so at all. I think it is going to take, for you have Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, and eventually, Madam Secretary, you have indictments after the election. After the election. After the election. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. I will try to be back later this evening. If I'm back, it's probably around 11:15 or so. And to my super chat, thank you. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel and subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman. I'll have some great segments up very soon on both channels. And share everywhere on Facebook, please. My Times of Israel article that was just published. It's below in the description section of this segment. Everyone, have a great evening. I'll try to be back a little later. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for everything.